Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Mark 1 Tower, this is Albatross 1-3, requesting permission to land, over.
I don't need a computer to tell me how to land a damn airplane.
6.
Heads-up display, check.
5,
Lasers, check.
4,
Particle beam, check.
3,
Photon bolts, check.
2,
Chair control, check.
1.
Let's do it.
Broadcasting from a secret underground location somewhere in Mos Eisley. This is the Docking Bay 77 podcast. Make yourself comfortable. The show is about to start. Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Docking Bay 77 podcast. I am your hard rock music-loving host, Dayton Johnson. Let's just get right into why we are here. Joining me from Nashville, Tennessee, a band that is doing their part to prove there is still good hard rock music. You just have to look around and make the effort. Hello and welcome to Too Hot for Leather. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us, man.
So excited to be here.
Of course. I'm super jazzed. So why don't you in turn go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell our listeners and viewers on YouTube what your job is in the band.
My name is Shannon, and I am the lead singer, front woman, all things that genre. And yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
I'm Ryan, and I play a guitar. I do a lot of booking, and I do the taxes.
Fun stuff, right?
All the whole behind-the-scenes stuff, man.
Important stuff. Important stuff. All right.
Yep.
I'm John. I'm the bass player, and I've been doing a lot of the social media and merch stuff recently.
Cool.
Kevin Keith. I make loud noises in all forms that they come.
Very cool. Very cool. And I just want to say, the names are such good hard rock names. I just love it. When first time I dropped over your website, those are hard rock names. Love it. Love it. And then once again, thanks again for joining me. So before we get into the history in the band, I do have a couple of observations I want to make after listening to your music. So on your Spotify description of your history or whatever, you mentioned your influences. Now, I love that I can actually hear the bands you mention in your music. Some artists love to say, "Oh, I'm influenced by them, this and that, whatever," and you can't hear it in there. So kudos to that. Also, I've noticed something, and maybe you have or haven't as well, but in modern hard rock, like a lot of the bands I love, Shinedown, Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and a lot of the other bands from the 2000s and on, it seems like guitar solos aren't important. So Ryan, thank you for bringing those back and making them a priority, because I think that's sorely missing in today's music. So a couple observations. I'll get into some more when we get into your songs. So let's just go ahead and get into band history. How did you guys know each other? Where did you meet? And when did the band actually start under this current name?
I want to interject really quick. Bringing back good guitar solos specifically too.
Fair. That's a fair assessment. Yes, 100%.
Well, we all met. I think I met Kevin in 21, right? I met you in 21, and we played for downtown and Broadway. And this is during that time when I started down there, and I needed a drummer, and a mutual friend of ours got us in contact. And then ever since then, for Kevin and I, we're playing downtown. And I think you brought Shannon on, right?
Yeah, I met her.
I might be saying this whole story wrong, but
you're doing it well.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, because I met her on a separate gig. Because Ryan, a mutual friend of ours, a high school friend of mine, had filmed Ryan's own music video for one of his own solo tracks. Cool. And I was new to town right after COVID, and as a lot of us were. And Ryan had been here. He had stayed through the whole time, and I got lucky that my friend was kind of scoping out gigs for me, because I wasn't able to get into some of these channels right away. And my friend was just sending me screenshots of, hey, you need drummer, hey, you need this, hey, you need that. And Ryan's was one of them, and I got lucky because my friend Adam was like, "Hey, you don't have to message him on Facebook; just text him and tell him I sent you." So I had the foot in the door there, and then we had a separate gig with Shannon, with another group that I had, a couple degrees of separation, and Shannon was brand new to town as well. Ryan and I needed a singer because we didn't have anyone regular, and I was just like, well, we gotta make sure we get her before she gets busy, Will. And then John, we saw him underneath an overpass on I-65 begging for money.
That's where you get most bass players, right? That's just
right.
That's the pipeline.
There's an old joke that says, "What do you call a bass player that without a girlfriend? Homeless." So, just
funny.
I love jokes like that because you basically can replace bass player with drummer and they still work,
Yes, exactly. I was a drummer when I was much younger, and they always threw out jokes like, how do you slow down a drummer? Sheet music in front of them. How many drummers does it take to change a light bulb? What's a light bulb? I'm used to all those. That's fine. But that's what makes the camaraderie fun when you're in a band, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but he was John was in another band actually. He was playing with some other folks downtown. We all kind of met like separately on the lower Broadway circuit.
Okay.
We started by playing the cover gigs, and we still do as our day job, and it's helped pay our bills in terms of recording costs, travel costs. Like we've been lucky in that way that we've had steady work down there, and for the last 4 years the money has been pretty good. It's been a good time for being a Broadway musician, and we kind of got lucky that we all came at that time, and we were able to survive off of just the tips we were receiving, and then we were able to take the money that we were given per gig from the bar and put it straight to our band expenses.
Nice.
Which let us get a lot more quick momentum than because it's tough to make things happen when you don't have money to spend on the expenses. And we were able to do it ourselves, so we were able to make our own decisions too. We weren't beholden to anything. We could do what we wanted to do and really test out who we were and what we had. So we're very lucky in that way.
That's very, very cool. Very cool. So most of you actually are not from Nashville. You're all moved into this area.
Yeah, I'm originally from upstate New York.
Okay.
I lived all over. I've lived in Boston and Charleston as well, and now Nashville.
Fantastic. Right.
I'm from Ohio.
Oh, what part of Ohio?
Cincinnati, man.
Cincinnati. Well, so that's where I'm from. I'm just north of
Really?
Cincinnati. That's right.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Small world, man.
It is a small world. How many times did you go to Bogart's when you were younger?
I went to Madison Theater.
Okay, right. Gotcha.
Where I've been going there since 2012. So
gotcha.
I didn't really go much to Bogart's. That kind of really wasn't my vibe.
Yeah, they back in the 80s and 90s, all the metal bands that weren't arena bands were playing there. That's where I saw Testament. That's where I saw Wrath Child America. That's where I saw Death Angel and Anthrax and whatever. And now they have Andrew J. Brady, which just opened up down there on the city in actually Cincinnati, and all those bands are now playing there. So Bogart's is actually, Mammoth VH is actually coming to town in April at Bogart's. So they still get some hard rock bands, and we're going to go to that show. But yeah, it's definitely not the showcase in the Midwest that it used to be back when, in the year. So yeah, that's fantastic.
We just played at Blue Note Harrison about a couple weeks ago too. So
okay, yeah, right. I saw that. Yeah, I missed it unfortunately, and I'm going to miss you guys in Covington, but we'll get to it later. But I will be in Louisville the same time you guys are, so I'm going to come to your Thursday night show.
Oh, cool! Very
nice.
nice.
That'd be great. It'll be so nice to meet in person.
Yeah, we're actually there for a board game convention that my wife is a partner in, and we get in on Thursday. Board games. That's right. 3 days of playing board games with 500 of our closest friends. It's fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
It is amazing. Trust me. It's this is actually our third year in Louisville, and it sells out every time now. It's
you bunch of my board game closet stacked to the ceiling.
Yeah, we're a little bit worse. We have over 500 board games in our house. Yes. If you can think of a genre or a theme, there's a board game for it, and we probably own it.
We
So-
love that.
Well, I mean, Ryan's a really humble dude, so he won't say it himself. But like we've learned as a band, we've learned that he's got a really tight knit community that he was a part of up in Cincinnati that recognizes talent and like really supported him. And it's kind of become like a little bit of a second home for us. We've gone up to Cincinnati a ton.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
more than any other place.
They've given us a lot of like, they've given us a lot of opportunities that we wouldn't get even necessarily here. Being able to play on certain stages, work with certain crews, like getting to play in the theater and open for some people because Ryan has built that connection over the years and years and years of working his butt off. We've gotten to play on some stages there and play in front of some people that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do. So we've had that experience, and it's influenced our songwriting, it's influenced our decision making, our motivations, and all that stuff. It's like Cincinnati's kind of like a second home for us because
That's so cool.
we're grind foot in.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right. So I have to ask the band name Too Hot for Leather. Where'd that come from? I'm just curious.
Well, it's started off as a joke, actually.
Okay.
It was kind of a joke, and I think we were on a Clopen, right?
Yep.
From Lucky's. We closed Lucky's around 3:00. Then we woke up and we opened up Whiskey Row, I think at 10:00.
Something like that, yeah.
It was super cold outside, but the sun was coming in on the window, like right on us, and it was really hot. And funny enough, we were all wearing leather jackets, and then I don't know who said it. Was it John Frisch or you, Kevin? Then someone, or you, Shan? I have no idea. Someone says,
I'm pretty sure it was John Frisch. Yeah, it was. We were cycling through bass players at the time, and we hadn't met John Blackstock yet, so we had a different John. We were just working on finding the correct John.
Yeah, it's a legal requirement that the bass player must be named John in this group. Yeah.
Yes,
no matter what.
It's a good hard rock name, man. John. Yeah, we I think we were all making money for the first time in years, so we were all like super excited. We all bought leather jackets and stuff because we were like, hey, we're gonna, And we all walked in, and it was so hot. And then the sun was beating down the stage. We all started just taking them off, and we thought we were gonna have to wear them the whole gig. And I think John Frisch was like, yeah, man, it's just like it's hot up here. It's almost too hot for leather. And we're like searching for a name. We started as a joke, so we had all these names that might have even got us in trouble, if we would have. And so, I didn't think we hadn't written any original music at the time. We were all just happy to be making a living. You know what I mean? Like after going a year and a half without working as a musician almost.
Right.
So thrilled to be making real money again. And so we were just very much in just like, hey, work as much as we can, take as many of these cover gigs, take as much of this, like maximize. So yeah, we played a closing shift at our kind of home spot now at Lucky Bastard Saloon that night before at Clopen. Just so you know what a Clopen is, it's when you close a bar and then open a bar the next morning.
Right. Gotcha.
So we were crazy. We were nuts back then. Yeah, like I'd say, like it was a bass player who doesn't actually play with us anymore, but he's a good friend.
Nice. All right. That makes sense. I figured it had to be some kind of in joke or inside joke or whatever, but yeah, makes sense. Do you remember any of the other possible band names before this one?
I can't remember if it was like an option of a band name or if it was a joke for one of the song titles, because we tend to put not real song titles as our like demo placeholders.
Makes sense.
I can't remember if this was that or if this was a potential band name, but there was a trend going on social media at the time with a sound on TikTok that was very relatable and very funny. And I'm pretty sure we workshopped emotional damage.
Yeah, that's it.
That's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. But yeah,
it's fun.
And it was
like, then we were like, maybe that may be a little too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was one more, and I can't think of it. We had 3.
Yeah.
One more.
I can't remember.
I don't know what it was.
But you think you're never going to forget this stuff, and then like one day you realize you forgot it. It's like
back in the most random moment.
Yeah.
Right. When nobody else is around, you remember it, and that's what's going to happen. All right. Cool. So, let's kind of get into how you got started playing music. So with me, I grew up with an older brother who listened to a lot of music that I shouldn't have been listening to when I was young. A lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s. But it was Kiss that grabbed my attention, like so many people of my generation. In fact, my first two albums I bought with my own money were Kiss Live 2 and Dynasty, and I still have them on the shelf behind me. So what artists and when got you guys loving music?
Well, for me, I come from a heavy blues background.
Right.
I started playing when I was about 12, and then I was introduced to guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, and that kind of grew into some classic rock. Listen to AC/DC, and then I got hooked on Guns N' Roses, and then that was kind of like okay, this is my vibe.
Right.
So
yeah, I definitely hear Slash in your playing for sure.
Yeah, I've been learning his kind of style for, honestly, it's crazy, about 15 years now. And it's not like I want to sound like him. It's just what he does is just, I partake what he does, and I find my own variation of what he's doing.
Gotcha. Yep.
Unique player, plays with a lot of feel, and that's something that I can connect with. So
fantastic. Yep, I agree with that. I can, like I said, I can hear it. I can, and you favor the Les Paul, which I know he's a fan of it as well.
Yeah,
so.
and really, my first guitar was a Gibson SG. So, and then when I finally had enough money saved up, I bought my first Les Paul, and I still have it.
Fantastic. All right,
still got it.
All right, how about you, Shannon? What was the first band or artist that got you loving music?
Oh, this is so hard. I grew up in a very musical family, so music was around before I was even conscious about it, honestly. But my mom was very much into, the 80s and then 2000s rock and things like that, like Bon Jovi. Loved Bon Jovi. Oh my God, back then. A little crazy about it.
Right.
But for sure, she was one of those in that time. But my dad was very much older rock. I mean, and then also like heavier metal, like way heavier metal. Like he was obsessed with like King Diamond heavy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely heavy.
Yes. Literally, my little sister is named after his Abigail record.
Abigail, nice. Oh, that's so cool, though. That's really cool.
So that's kind of what I was raised in a culmination of. So when I was, choosing my own music, Evanescence was huge for me. Yep. But I also really love just like big powerhouse vocalists. Like Kelly Clarkson has always been a huge vocal like goddess.
She has the best voice in pop music for sure. Her range, just the different genres she can do, and just like it's nothing for her.
She's just the perfect standard of a vocalist, in my opinion, of just being able to match anything, and her tone is always gorgeous. So I've always been a very big fan of her vocally. And then of course, like going into the more like pop punk, pop rock world, Avril Lavigne, Hayley Williams, like all of that kind of stuff, I've always just soaked up.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so in terms of my personal musical influences, it's kind of all over the place because, I come from a pretty musical family. My dad is like the church organist, and my mom, was a band director she's a band director now. So it's like growing up, I listened from everything from like, sacred organ music to what's on the radio. So it's just all over the place. But I can say I do have like a core memory when it comes to actually being a musician. Was I went and saw in 2000, it would have been, I think 2010, I saw the band Dream Theater.
Oh,
the very first time. That was the first concert I ever been to. And right after it was done, I was like, all right, I want to do that. That's what I want. Yes. And I'd already kind of started playing bass at that time, but like really kind of focused up after that,
Yeah, I mean, I still own When Day and Dream Unite. I heard it at a record store. I walked in and I heard it, and that's how old I was. I was in college at the time, and I walked in, I heard it, I walked up to the counter, I said, "Who is this? I need to buy this album." I mean, I heard one song and I bought it. They are tied for live acts I've seen. I've seen them 6 times along with Anthrax and Metallica, so they're tied. And just saw them earlier this year on their 40th anniversary tour. So yeah, John Young, that's inspiring. He is definitely
Yeah,
inspiring.
no, it was a great show. It was right after they had released A Nightmare to Remember. That's the name of that album, right?
Nightmare to Remember is on Black Clouds and Silver Linings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they opened it with that song, Nightmare to Remember, and like just the way the production, everything, it was great. And
Yeah.
that just got me hooked.
I understand.
Yep.
All right, how about you, Kevin?
What was that? I mean, what was that like hearing that, Dayton? Like, what was it like hearing that, walking in the store, be like, "Who's that band?" And then they immediately changed their vocalist.
So,
Right.
because they replaced the original guy with James LaBrie, and so I was always a big fan of Rush, and at that point it would have been Rush, Queensryche, and when I heard him, what I heard was a combination of those two with little Kansas thrown in, and those were all things I liked.
Mhm.
And I remember when Images and Words came out, my collection of music nerds and whatever, we all went nuts over Images and Words. And in our little group, I'm the only one that actually likes When Day and Dream Unite. Everybody else is kind of like, whatever. They kind of ignore it and move on to Images and Words. But I actually have the CD. I actually have 2 copies of it on vinyl as well. But it was just such a game changer for me. I mean, I've always enjoyed progressive rock and progressive metal, but man, Dream Theater is on their own level. Dream Theater is just it. They even years later, it blew me away. It's like when you saw them live, you just watch those guys play, and it's almost like, how do they do it? They just make it look so easy, and it's not. And you're just like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. They are just, sorry, they're on another level. Like I said, they've literally been one of my favorite bands since I heard that first record. So
You got the Winery Dog shirt on too. I love that.
of course I do, man.
Well, it's funny because you're talking about like the Dream Theater. I think the thing that separates, like, and this kind of like leads into the musical influences thing, is like something we take really seriously is that all 4 of us have a say. All 4 of us have super valid influences, super valid like upbringings and paths to where we got to, and squash any of that is like a sin. And like I think the biggest influences like on me growing up were the first two records my parents ever played. They weren't playing like kids music for me. They played me. I got lucky. They played like the Beatles Past Masters Volume 2, specifically, not 1, like Volume 2. So that was like Day Tripper on. So all the weird stuff, or like their later catalog, where they were just a studio band, and then Queen's Greatest Hits.
Wow.
Night at the Opera, like that stuff. And so it was like the first stuff I heard were bands where all 4 members were contributing something.
Right.
It wasn't like the band was the solo project of Freddie Mercury. It was Brian May had a say. They all respected one another. They all had singles cut. They all had songwriting credit. You know what I mean? Like, and like Dream Theater, I think the reason they stand out for the difference is like all 5 of them have something to say. Where the other bands, that's not necessarily the case as much. But like every person in Dream Theater has a personality. It's allowed to come through in the music. And that's the whole point of a band.
Right.
There are great bands out, like Muse is one of our, we've said like is on our website, like, but it's pretty clearly a Matthew Bellamy project. And the other are kind of supporting and filling in those gaps and stuff like that. But like the bands that I think that we all like, Guns N' Roses, even though Axl Rose and Slash are just such big personalities, it wouldn't exist without Duff and Steven Adler. It wouldn't exist.
Right.
These guys. So I think like in terms of influences, it's like any group where every member has a say is like Rush being one of them. Like, and that taught me that every member of the band could be an expert on their instrument too, and not step on each other's toes.
Right.
Right. Still be greater than some other parts. I think that's like, it's definitely, it inspired me to move here and find a band like that, because I've never done anything else. Like if I'm playing music, I'm playing in bands.
as much as I love Megadeth, you can always tell that it was Dave Mustaine's show, and that's which is why he went through so many band members so often, you know. And you're right, Rush. You know, I still remember the day Neil passed away. It just like ripped my heart out of my chest. And but those bands, like I love Metallica, but that is a Lars and James show, and you can tell. And you can tell when I think they fire on all cylinders when all the four band members contribute. You can tell the music is just better. So yeah, and a lot of my favorite bands like Anthrax, those guys, you know, it's always. I mean, yeah, I know Scott does most of the lyrics, but musically they all contribute, you know, and they can all play everything. Watching Charlie, you know, sit down. I mean, he's awesome on the kit, but he also plays guitar. You know, he can write music, and so Iron Maiden, same thing. All those guys contribute. I mean, I know Steve kind of has final say, but you can tell the music is just better when everybody puts in their own 2 cents and makes it a part. So yeah, that makes sense. So
I told Ryan I watched Some Kind of Monster for the first time this year. Finally got around to it.
That's a great documentary. It's a great documentary.
I texted Ryan during it because he had watched. I think he had encouraged me to watch, and I was texting him like, "Can we like never do this? Like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? Like, not that I didn't respect him or whatever, but it's like I was, you know, and you get you understand the pressures and all that stuff, but it was like they were just actively treating each other poorly, and like all the stuff they did to Jason.
Oh my God, yes,
badly they treated him, and it was just like, can we just not? Let's never do that. Like,
right?
Other stuff can come up, but like, let's never do that.
Let's go ahead and get into your songwriting. So you guys, obviously you guys write as a group. So how does the song start? Is it with a riff? Is it a lyric? You know, do you guys just sit down and write together? Or is it somebody bring something to the party? How does that work?
All of the above, honestly. It's a combination. We kind of just roll with how it happens and, you know, make something out of it. Whether that is coming from somebody bringing some lyrics to the table and we put music behind it, or someone brings a riff, or someone brings a full-fledged backing track and we write to it. Like it. And we've also, you know, taken multiple little like retreat trips out to like cabins in the woods just to like sit down with a couple bare minimum gear and stuff to record crappy, awesome demos and just see what we can come up with on the spot, you know? So we've tried it all. We're willing to try it all, see what happens and make the best of it, you know?
That's very cool. That's very cool. Do you guys like, and also kudos on sounding as good live as you guys do on the studio recordings, because I found some of your live videos on YouTube, and that's always a question for me. There's been bands that I heard the CD or whatever and then heard them live and I was like, nope, I just can't do this. So congrats on sounding just as good there. How does studio work? I mean, do you guys like to record as a group, like record live and then obviously do other tracks later, or is it one at a time? How does that work?
We took a couple of different approaches, right? So we have 6 songs out right now. We kind of consider that like our first. We didn't release it as an EP, but we're kind of viewing it like that right now.
Right.
Kind of repackaged it a little bit because it does really define where we were at the time, you know, and who we were. We were kind of, that was our first experience together recording and writing our own music.
Okay.
And so we took a very, someone said the LA approach, someone else said a Nashville approach. So who knows what, you know, I don't think anyone like it, but it's like, we worked with someone who, you know, did the approach where we, you know, tracked all the drum parts down. You know, we wrote out a MIDI part, you know, basically played to that part in the studio, learned the part, tracked it, replaced it. And then same thing, just, you know, tracked over the demo, essentially part by part. And, you know, that creates a certain sound, that creates a certain energy and whatnot. We decided as a group that we didn't want to do that again for the second thing we put together, whether it was a collection of singles or an EP or a record. We wanted to do it the traditional way, which is get into a room together. And whether it's like, you know, the Howard Benson method where he isolates everybody and records in parallel and has everyone in a sound booth, or in a room. And it ended up being we're in a room together. You'll like this because you're a music nerd. We went to a studio in the country in Bogalusa, Louisiana. And that is where Kansas recorded Left Overture and major parts of Point of No Return.
Right. That's cool.
Carry On Wayward. So we have a picture of us on our socials somewhere where we staged a photo that we found of Kansas outside the front door of the studio, and we restaged ourselves to copy it. It looks exactly the same. It hasn't changed almost at all since 1975. And but we went old school, and like we were fighting some of the gear. Some of the gear was missing. Some of it was old. Some of it was, but it was just like, dude, that it was so cool. We were talking to someone yesterday about it. It's like it was so cool having to think on the fly like that and tackle some of those problems in real time, like bands had to do, and it forces you to just be locked in.
Right.
You're not going to do 50,000 takes. It's like, no, do 4 or 5. You know what I mean? Like that's, because I mean, you run into some snags that takes some time to fix, and it's like, hey man, be locked in. Like know the song, know your part, give a good performance every single time you're at the instrument. And they're both good. I think we both got really nice sounding records, but this one just has a different energy to it. It has an energy like we are in a room making music together, and that's what it's about. So
nice.
We like to think we can do it whatever way we need to, but it depends on the songs we're writing and what are serve the songs best.
Yeah, I think I like the whole recording as a group thing. Jar of Flies from Alice in Chains, they recorded it in 7 days, and it was all almost first takes. And that record, it's an EP, but it might as well be a full-length record, is just fantastic. We did a review on it earlier this year. And I sometimes you can tell, but yeah, I love that. We're actually going to review Point of No Return in 2026. So I'll have to mention you guys on that episode that you got to record there. So that's so cool. Awesome.
It's funny with it. We took that approach on the first record where, you to get behind the scenes of the production stuff and the editing and how much editing happens. We're not afraid to talk about this stuff. Like it's, right. A lot of times, especially with like pop records and, pop rock or pop, if pop is in the title of the genre, there's tons of behind the scenes clipping and merging and time correction specifically to make sure the pocket never wavers. But so the first album, that's what we did. I mean, everything was timed, everything was to the grid, which is cool. This record, we took it the old school approach, and I remember I was personally a little like wary of it, just didn't want us to sound unpolished or anything like that. But I remember listening to American Idiot by Green Day one day. I was doing some recording thing or just kind of deep dive, and I remember trying to set some of the tracks to a click track, and if you listen with a click track, they don't stay right to the grid on that record. All the songs have wavering, and that is like one of the best modern rock records. And
yes, it is.
Made us all realize that it's like, man, if it feels good, it really doesn't matter that much. It's just, again, does it serve the song correctly? If it feels weird gridded, don't grid it. Let it breathe. Let the musicians do their job, and people will still like it. But yeah, it's like we trusted ourselves a little bit more, I think, on this record. It's like, let's go see what we really got here.
Very
I think
cool.
We proved ourselves something.
So with that, when are we going to get some new music? I know I saw a video for Beef Stew. So when do we get some new music? We'll get to the current ones you have out, but I'm curious when we're going to hear some new music from you guys.
Sometime next month, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna release a single the end of January.
Okay.
I'll say date.
Yeah, early 2026.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, cool. Well, how about we jump into the current singles and talk a little bit about them and how they started. So your number one stream song, Mess With Me, definitely pick up an 80s vibe on that one. How did that one come about? And what are your thoughts on that one? Because I have one that's a favorite and some other notes, but Mess With Me. Tell me about that one.
Dude, that was a totally 180, because that was a riff that I brought to the table, and it was like a slower vibe. And Kevin, I know you're like, no, dude, let's just pick it up, and that's kind of how that was written. I know I was like trying to go for that AC/DC vibe on the verses. Me, for personally, that's my favorite song because it just is a lot of fun to play. I like the bridge part because it just has that turn that I feel like that no one's really expecting. So
Right.
To our own degree, we're all like Pink Floyd fans too, to very,
Nice.
and that was like, we're trying really hard not to be too on the nose with it, not
Okay,
to
right.
so directly, hey guys, this is a Pink Floyd moment, it's like, which I don't think we did that, but it was like,
Yeah.
but that was a direct influence. Like, what if like the hard rock and the psychedelic progressive rock like came together more, that definitely the bridge, that's a fun bridge. That's fun.
Yeah, I can tell you the chorus lives rent free in my head like lately, like the last week or so. I just that chorus just sits in there. So anytime you get a song stuck in my head, well done. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Show Me What You Got. Love the lyrics, first of all. I definitely hear your Guns N' Roses influence, especially at the last minute of the song. Feels Paradise City to me, but I kind of like your version better than Paradise City. I think they went on too long for that section, but whatever.
That's bold.
it's
Sorry.
actually
That's heat, Ryan.
this is actually a song that I wrote before these guys. I wrote the chorus part,
Okay.
but I didn't know what to do with it afterwards, so I let it sit for about a year or so. Then I met these guys, and then it's like, here, I have a song, here we go, let's finish it. So then we all collaborated on it, and I know I was like telling guys, like, I really want to have my own outro of for Paradise City. So that's exactly how we did that. So
Yeah, like I said, Paradise City is one of those songs that that got ruined by radio play because it was just like always on MTV and always on the radio. But yeah, the end of that song is killer, and like I said, I heard it in there for sure. So fantastic.
It's until I met Ryan, like I kind of got into the same mode with Guns N' Roses, that specifically the Appetite record, because I grew up listening to classic rock radio. My parents always had it on, and it was a similar thing, man. I heard Paradise City, Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine way too many times.
Yes.
And, like, I was sick and tired of it. But then getting to play it with somebody who is dedicated to that sound and has studied it I get it now. I get it now. Like, listening to it for so many years, I was just like, geez, man, like, okay. But yeah, it's like, it's cool. Like Ryan getting to have his own version of it now. Like, it's like, okay, we've done that old one. Let's hear somebody else do it. I think that's important.
It's always fun when you can see somebody have fun being passionate about something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It comes through. Yeah.
100%.
Anybody that like wants to squish other people's happiness when they're just enjoying something, like that's lame.
Agreed. I might not agree with some of my host musical choices, but that's what makes music fun. It's like they can like what they like, I can like what I like, and my running joke is they can be wrong all the time. That's fine with them. That's fine with me. So.
What, like, talking about the writing process of that song, so like, we really do have a very democratized, egalitarian approach to the songwriting, where it's like anybody can bring an idea to the table. And we know, it goes all the way down to like our royalty shares. You know what I mean? We agreed. It's like, man, if you're bringing a song to the band, everybody's going to be contributing something at some point. We share everything equally. There's no point in like getting, we were trying for a bit. They're okay. Let's see who did what and who didn't. It's like, you know what? We all, came to the conclusion, like, you know what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, it just, and but like that song started off with, it was very combative, kind of like a Mess With Me kind of lyrical subject. It was very about just like, hey, I'm going to start a fight, like Mortal Kombat-y, and it was very, it was good, but I definitely didn't really stick to one thing. It kind of went all over the place. It was an early songwriting thing. And I do remember a producer at the time, he was looking over the lyrics and he was like, hey, I don't really know what this is about. And it was just like, yeah, I don't know. We don't really know either. And it was
sounds good, right?
Yeah. It was like, it was good, but it wasn't as good as we could make it. It wasn't our best. And I remember it was like kind of one day, I don't know, it was, maybe I went home or something like that after, and I was just like, yeah, got to figure out something. I think it was like an hour later. It was just like, you know what? This is going to be a sex song now. And it's like, it's going to be about someone being like, instead of being a fight, it's about like, hey, come on, like what are we doing? What are we waiting for? You know what I mean? Like, it's just get after it. As opposed to like a combative thing. And then, brought it to the rest of the band, like, hey, here's a revised version of those choruses with this being the subject matter. Does this resonate with everyone? And then it was like, yeah, I got a verse for it. Yeah, I got a verse for it. Yeah, let's do this with that verse. And it was just like, it gave us a new idea. So it's like, and they all come from different plays. Like Ron will be like, no, what do we do this with the riff? And it's like, oh, now we know what to do with the song, and it's like, everything's changeable. Everything is on the table. Yeah.
Right. All right. So Surrender to the Flame, one of our hosts, she listened to your singles. Amber counted this one as her favorite track. We both picked up on an Evanescence Amy Lee vibe for sure. I mean, your vocals are, if I didn't know better, I would have heard, I thought, is that a new Evanescence song? I do have a question. Who plays keyboards on the track?
Is it the string stuff? Like
Yes.
That we had a guy, so he's a guy that actually does like news bumpers for a living. Like he works like he'll do like he programs orchestral, like MIDI electronic, synth bumpers for like news programs.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so we the producer and us, we all kind of came together and wrote out a part and then sent it off to him to program it with his professional. So those aren't real string players on that single.
Gotcha.
The budget didn't allow for it at the time. But yeah, so we kind of programmed it, and then that guy, he went and programmed them using his professional orchestral plug-in gear.
How did that one start?
God, it's so hard to think way back then on how it
I think Kevin, I think you had a good amount of that song done. I think you made something, and you sent it to us to see.
I feel like that one to me, at least in my memory, that's a Cabin song. Like that one was.
Was it? It's so hard to remember.
Like it was. I have this feeling like it was just that bump.
That was a Cabin, yeah. Because we just forgot that part down, and I think you went home and you added some more stuff to it. I think.
Yeah, just kind of like made a rough, just like, hey, here's the structure of it. Here's where I think the ups and downs are going. Here's where strings could fit into it. It wasn't obviously the finalized product, but it was. I seem to remember like we got a good idea of the lyrics down though. Like at that time, John wasn't actually in the band, and it was we were the three of us at the Cabin, and he joined like very soon after that.
Okay.
And so he then also helped out with like his bass part and his. The energy of that. So it was like, even though like John technically wasn't like a member of the band at the time, he recorded all the parts. He's on those records. He's playing, and so he contributed like parts within and like arrangement ideas and things like that too. So it was. I feel like that one was a really like collaborative thing. But I think it just started from that like very kind of doomy, like dark. Very like the forest at night, there a witch's Sabbath kind of thing, and
very Evanescence inspired.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like that moody darkness,
gothy,
yes,
rock. You know what I mean? Very
it's perfect for spooky season.
100%.
It just
agreed. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go ahead and move on to my favorite of these singles, My Dearest Darkest. I hear a Paramore influence in this. Am I right or wrong, or am I just making it up?
No, for sure. I mean, I don't know that it was necessarily intentional when we were writing the song, but it kind of just happens that way sometimes, where you get done with it and you look back and you're like, oh yeah, that's giving that kind of vibe. But yeah, that was actually the first song that we all wrote together as a band, and just happened to be the one that we've released most recently. So we just waited a long time.
If I remember, I think we wrote that song in like an hour.
It was very quick. We had just sat the first time we sat down to be like, okay, well, let's give this songwriting as a band thing a go and see what happens. And that song happened.
It was crazy. Like it was crazy how I think one of the things that like I was told when I moved here, and I'm sure everybody heard this. I know everybody heard this to a degree, was like when you move to Nashville, take every gig you can get, take every opportunity, every band, every musician, especially Nashville. Like Nashville is a city of, hired guns, session players,
Right.
Live touring musicians. So it's like you're always looking for the next gig. You're always looking for the step up, get to the next gig. But they never tell you that the minute you find a gig that you're confident in, don't take every gig. Like, don't do it. Stick with what you got. And it was one of those things that's like, I think a lot of people go a long time to find that. And they go years. And they go, ache, pain and tears and blood and sweat and all that stuff. And I just have that distinct memory of like, we were playing the Broadway thing and we had gotten a few months in, playing cover music for a living. We got past the first winter, got kind of into 2022. It's like, hey, let's give this a try and see what we have. Like, do you guys want to try it? Like, I think everyone goes through that, but it was kind of an instantaneous thing. Like you're saying, it wouldn't happen in an hour. And it's like, I think, I don't know of many people that can just say that, like, it was just like, immediately it's like, okay, no, I'm not taking every gig from here on out. Like that was watershed for me, at least. It's like, nope, I'm not taking every gig. I'm not going to live that life anymore. I've got one, like we did it. We found it. And it was like, we can't not give this the go because that song proved it to us.
Nice.
That it happened that quickly. It's like, obviously we got something.
Right. So did you guys all do session work before joining together?
No, I did. I was in a band up in Boston for a little bit, not like a band like this by any means, but not an original band per se. We were doing a couple cover gigs here and there in the local Boston area, just for a few months. And then the summers, things like that, in between like school and doing that. But that was really my only experience. And then I came down to Nashville, met these guys on Broadway, and we took it from there.
Okay.
So the only really studio experience I had was ever just in class, because I went to a music school. So like,
okay,
like homework or something.
My gig, honestly, before I moved to Nashville was working as a show band bass player on cruise ships, which
oh, really?
I'm sure session players would kill me if they heard me say this, but it in some ways is similar to session work, but it is still quite different,
But it was a paycheck, so it was okay. You're playing music.
Paycheck, and it was a great experience for, until COVID messed everything up.
Yeah, right. Right.
Dude, weren't you stuck in like the Indian Ocean for a minute there?
Yeah. We were on a world cruise, and we were going from Madagascar was the last port we actually were allowed to get off in, and the next stop would have been in I think somewhere in India would have been the next stop, and about halfway through we got word that okay, the world might be shutting down. So we rerouted to Australia, and then right before we got into port, we got an announcement over the PA saying, "Yep, all cruise operations have ceased." And then it just couldn't get off the ship for like we were sitting off the coast of California for about a month.
Oh,
because they, and the crazy thing was, we had been basically under just sort of accidental quarantine because it started spreading while we were in the middle of the ocean. And we hadn't gotten off for like a month and a half, but they still wouldn't let us off because they were worried that we were bringing COVID in from the other side of the world. So,
jeez, that's crazy,
crazy time.
Crazy. All right,
quite the experience.
I think because Ryan moved here before any of us did. He's been here the longest. Like you were here before all that too. Like
yeah, I got here in 2016, and it's changed a lot in 10 years. It's changed quite a bit here, man. It's not what it used to be when I moved here, but it's slowly for coming up to that. So, but I've been doing, I wouldn't say it's session work for other people. It's always been for myself. So, but I've been recording since I was 17. So
oh wow, okay.
I've known how the recording studio works, and I'm still learning how it works, amp sounds, all that fun stuff. So I've been around that for quite some time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the last couple singles and we'll move on to something else. Nothing Left to Lose. Another one that kind of feels like an 80s vibe to me. How'd that one start?
I think that was another riff I brought to the band, I think. And then I think it was just one of for those things like, hey, here it is. And then the song, I think we took a couple sessions to write the songs. I think we were going back and forth on a couple things, but it was so long ago. It's just really hard, to remember. But
that one, the same thing. Like I remember working on that at the cabin.
That was a cabin song, right? Yep, that was a cabin song.
I feel like that one. I feel like Mess With Me. We kind of finished it out at the cabin. We had that one pretty well worked on. But like Surrender to the Flame, Show Me What You Got, and Nothing Left to Lose. I have this distinct memory that those three were kind of written there. Like kind of they started because you brought that riff to that. I think you had that on your computer.
Yep.
That part at the cabin, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
I think there's one other one, but we haven't forgot to that one yet. But yes,
somewhere in our hard drives. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
It came really easy. I feel writing that was like really quick, but I think that we were, if I remember, we were going back and forth on the chorus part for a few things. I don't know. It was still fun to write.
Well, that's what's important. If it's fun to write, regardless.
It is fun to write, but also too, I have to remind myself, don't think about it too much. If you sit here and think like, what about this? What about this? Like, if this feels good, it feels good. Because there's so much things you can do with a song.
There's that story that John and Paul never left their writing session without finishing a song. And that's kind of a twofold thing in like my mind where it's like, I'd love to get to a day where I have that kind of like discipline, where it's like, oh, we're going to finish this. It's going to be finished. We're going to have the structure finished. We're not going to let it sit. We're just going to finish it now because we're in the moment. And then second off, it's like that ability to just be like, yo, this is good. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like it feels good. Trust yourself. Go with it. And then, you can amass more songs that way, but it also, I think, does put you in a place where you are more honest with your product, or
right.
songs and not the product, but the songs you're putting out, because it is a real representation of where you are at that moment.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. The final single, Never Again. Tell me about that song.
That was a Kevin song.
Yeah, that was a memory I have of that one personally. It was brought, similar. You bring certain stages of songs, and Ryan's brought riffs and sections and stuff like that. And that was one where it's like I got a verse and a chorus idea, and I was just like, okay, that feels solid. I'm gonna bring this to the band, see if they like it. But I do remember we were there's this thing in Nashville. So Nashville is famous for their songwriting, their song circles and rounds and whatnot. And then there's also full band showcases, artist showcases. And I would say probably the most famous one or the most well-known one is Whiskey Jam in Nashville. Yeah. And it's been around for probably, I don't know how Ward's been doing it for about 10, 15 years almost. I think they just maybe had their 10th anniversary or something like that. But it was, one of those things where it started. He went to a local bar and said, hey, can I host this thing here? And I'll bring people in, I'll bring business in, you'll make money, but then we also have a chance for people to showcase their stuff. And it's a country focused thing for sure. It is
right.
It's country music. But at the time or there was some way we got connected because we were still playing Broadway, but we were writing the music, and it was like 2022. And somebody connected us with Ward, and they said, hey, do you want to play Whiskey Jam? And of course, we're like, yes, of course. It's a good opportunity. It's a good thing to do. You got to do it. And I remember, it's like it's a 12-minute, you have 12-minute slots or something like that. You have a certain allotted amount of time. And that usually equates to 3 songs, roughly.
Right.
4 if you're squeezing them in, but 3 if you're just playing them and talking about them in between. And I think at the time it was like a month away or something like that. It was like very like, hey, we have a slot open. Can you fill this slot? And it was like, I think a month or month and a half away. and we were sitting there, and we were sitting there with 2 songs, and we didn't have a third one. And I know I was in a moment of just like, oh my God, we don't have enough music. What are we? Oh no. It's kind of like an oh no moment. For me, at least, I don't know. I got into a mindset. I go down these, those spirals sometimes. But I do remember, like, I think I was out for a walk or something like that, and I was like, God, we need something. We need something. And I think sometimes I work well under pressure because it's just like, dude, you just got to get it done. You can't overthink. I'm an overthinker for sure. And so that was kind of like a message kind of to myself a little bit too, or to whoever hears it, that's not really a way to live a lot of the time. So it was like that was very much on the forefront when I came up with the verse and the chorus. But I was just like, okay, that is something I feel good about, that hook. And it's a ballad. It's something to go in the middle of our set because we had My Dearest Darkest and Mess With Me at the time.
Okay.
Okay, those are 2 really big time rocking songs. Here's one that can show off another side. Cool. Then it's like, hey, I think we got one. You guys want to roll with it? Let's just do it. Let's put it together. And it was very just like, boom, 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 boom. Here's how it's going to work. We all got together and figured it out. But it was a very much under pressure kind of thing. We didn't have the song. We needed one. Like, oh no. But yeah, that one's fun. Like, and it's like, it's elevated by the fact that everyone brings something to the table. If I would have released it myself, it wouldn't be nearly as good.
All right. Very cool. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to some favorite things. Some questions I have for you guys. So I know you guys tour pretty consistently in your region. Let's put it that way. Do you have a favorite venue that you guys have played that you look forward to getting back to?
But the venue shut down. We were playing in Columbus, Ohio, her Turtle Creek Tavern, and I've been playing there since 2018, and it's such a cool spot. But they finally closed their doors a couple weeks ago, unfortunately. So I was really looking forward to playing there, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I saw your venue change for your Columbus date.
Yep.
That's a bummer.
Now we're playing at a music store, which is still pretty cool. Never played a music store before, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Right? Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But I think if I had to pick one that's going to happen now, I like Madison Live because that's kind of where I started, and my hometown scene was there. So that spot kind of hits home. So
yeah, I agree. Honestly, out of the venues we've done, it's probably Madison Theater, Madison Live. It's the same kind of venue. I mean, mainly for me, because we just have such a good relationship with the management there. That's just massive.
True.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I mean, I'm a sucker. The nice, small, intimate places can be nice too if it's the right setting. But of course, I love a good big stage with some nice lights and a lot of room for a lot of people. So
right.
One of the bigger places that we've played so far in our career. So I'm always excited to go back.
All right. That's cool.
I bet, there might be like, after this leg of the tour we're doing here in the winter, that might update it. We might even have another answer. Like, I know we've been
who knows?
Charlotte, North Carolina a couple times now. And we've started connecting with people there and connecting with musicians, and they have a really nice local music scene. Like, you wouldn't think. Just like if you had to pick a city that has like a really seemingly vibrant like local band, there's quite a few in Charlotte. There's a lot, and I think maybe it's because it's close-ish to Nashville, close-ish to the Southeast, but like every time we've gone out there, we've met other bands who are, they might have day jobs, you know what I mean? They might be doing that kind of thing, but they're still getting together and playing, and they're bands, you know what I mean? And so it's like, that might change, we might go and play the show and be like, man, that is like another home for us. Like, that feels really good. Like, I don't know, Charlotte's kind of started becoming that. We played our first festival there.
Okay.
And that was awesome.
The city's energy is really positive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we really enjoyed getting to to be there. Like we everyone we met there at the festival, every goer to the festival there were super nice, super polite. Like it didn't get this energy that it was like chaotic and people beating each other down to get to the doors. Like no, everybody was super nice, had a good time, very supportive. They all went to the different, that's huge. I mean, like that's such not every city's like that. Not every city has that kind of tie to the live music stuff. And it's like Charlotte seems to.
Cool. All right. Look forward to that. All right. So you guys have a lot of energy when you play on stage. Is there a certain song you prefer to play live, like a favorite song that you guys do live?
I mean, coming out swinging would mess with me is like, I don't know, man. That's pretty fun,
All right.
I do love My Dearest Darkest. It has a special place in my heart and it is really fun. But I also have a lot of fun playing some of our new stuff that we have coming out soon.
Hard question.
So I don't know. It might be overtaken by a new song. We'll have to see when we throw this rundown in January.
All right. Looking forward to that. Okay.
We play some cover music. We play a couple cover tunes that sprinkle in just to show people our influences too,
Yeah.
And
I was going to ask if you did still do covers. So what kind of covers you guys do?
I have a fondness in my heart for whenever Kevin and I do Dreams by the Cranberries.
Oh, nice.
I got it last night. We were playing down on Broadway last night, and even somebody came up and said to me, they were like, you two complement each other so well. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So
we compliment each other the rest of the night.
I know.
But it's like, when we pick our we've obviously, I think all of us to a certain degree are a little bit burned out on playing. Put it nicely. It's just you do something for long enough and it's the same thing over and over again, like the grind, obviously. With the original music stuff, we're obviously, very new to it. The grind is still new. Everything we do is like a new experience. And it's like so great to have this that we're doing. Just for that reason, it does make going through the kind of day job grind of playing down on Broadway a little bit easier. Because we know that, hey, we got eyes on the prize, man. You know what I mean? Like, we got this thing we're going for. But there are some songs that obviously we all influenced by stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there are a couple songs that we know are going to showcase our, diverse influences. But like, as long as the songs are kind of larger than life, because I think we all feel that way about music too. Like the larger than life feel is why you go to see a show. You feel like you're in a universe that's just existing in that. And it's so we play Dreams by the Cranberries because I don't know what it is about that song. There's some fairy dust in that song.
Right.
There's something magical about it. And we also play Renegade by Styx.
Oh, nice.
Because all of us get involved with singing, and that's something we try to make sure we show off as much as we can, is the fact that all four of us will get up on the mic and we will assert ourselves. Like I say, we all have personalities. We all have something that's being added, and what better way to show that off by our voices, so that we get to do the whole like breakdown and the intro, and but it just rocks so hard.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. It's nice to give some love to Styx because I kind of feel like they get beaten up a bit too often by some people. So I don't know.
Give me any band that gets beaten up and I will listen to them 10 times harder.
Right? We're doing a review on Grand Illusion coming up this year. We're doing a whole series on films and albums from the year 1977, and Grand Illusion made the cut. So looking forward to that one. So let's go ahead and move on to some Holy Grail questions. Like, for instance, any venue, any Holy Grail venue, like the venue you dying to play, where do you guys want to play? In a perfect world, in a perfect situation.
My parents' garage.
Mine would probably be, is it Red Rocks?
Yeah. Oh, right.
That'd be a great one
for me as well.
That would be a lot of fun.
I
That's
feel
very
like
cool.
the big ones, like the big bucket list ones, always, things like Madison Square Garden is always fun. Like it's cool to be able to check those kinds of boxes off of a goal list. So
Very
anything
nice.
widespread like that can get you access to that many people at once, like, come on. Of course, it's a dream.
Even like the like place like that, or like the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington,
Yeah.
the O2 in London. Like being able to say you played Wembley or the O2 in London, I feel
Oh,
like real, like you've made it. You know what I mean? Like
that's next level.
Right?
it's international and it's England. You know what I mean? Like it is where so much of what we do in rock and roll is born out of. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like international stuff is cool, but yeah, specifically like the O2 or Wembley for me, I think.
Yeah. Any chance you guys are going to tour across the pond?
Would love to.
If it fits in the upper budget, yeah.
Right?
No,
We have been getting a lot of radio play in Australia right now. And I know Mess With Me, that's the number one song being played out of is Australia. So it would be amazing if we can make
Wow.
that happen.
Luckily for us, that is the furthest place we could travel to. So.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a long flight. That's a long flight.
I've had some friends. I think we've had some friends of ours like play some gigs out in Australia, and I remember there was a one point, I think it was earlier this year. A friend of mine had asked me if I could fill in on drums for a gig, and it was going to be in Australia.
Oh, wow.
It was a couple days back, and I was just like, dude, just let me know, and it was like, okay, I'll let you know. I'm pushing, and then the artist ended up like being like, hey, I'm just going to do an acoustic gig for that. So we're gonna work out, and it was just like, man, fine. We'll just go with our band then. You know, we'll get there eventually.
Right?
I'm not waiting anyone else. We'll just go ourselves.
Better that way. Come on.
That's a bucket list for you. I guess Australia is a bucket list. Like
That'd be really fun. Honestly, yeah. Anywhere that like people want to see us, like I'd love to go.
Makes sense.
cool. Australia's cool. So we have a lot of we have a decent following in Brazil. That was one of the first markets that kind of that really grabbed on to our new singles, like our music originally, like gave us legitimate like looking social media and like streaming numbers was Brazil actually. We know they love their rock and roll down there, man.
Right?
They love rock down there. It's so cool.
Which is why they always fill stadiums.
Yeah, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they love it down there, man. It's weird to think that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about dream band to see live that you haven't seen, a current band or a defunct band. I know my answer. I'd love to have seen like the 1977 Eagles. That would have been my absolute must. So, but how about you guys?
I've been seeing that Amy Lee and Evanescence have been touring again.
Yep.
And I have never gotten to see them live, so I would be ecstatic in that audience for sure.
So real quick, that I'm sure you heard the song that they did with Poppy and Courtney LaPlante. What do you think of that song? Because I love that song.
I like it too. I don't know. I feel like has there been discourse about it online?
No, I'm just curious because I know it did really well, and I think some magazines are calling it one of the best metal singles of the year. And I guess there's talk of them doing another song together because it was because of that song. Because I knew Evanescence, I've been listening to Spirit Box a little bit more, but I had never listened to Poppy. So after that, I went and started listening to her. And
yeah, the
wow.
Poppy lore is crazy because she was I haven't much listened to her music, but I remember Poppy from YouTube, which was
right.
Like a very different personality.
Yes.
Very different.
I listened to her recent album and I really enjoyed the album. I was trying to branch out. I listened to Ginger. That one didn't land on with me, but Poppy was definitely nice balance of like with Courtney, nice balance with the vocals. She has a great voice and then has enough aggressiveness in there too. But yeah, check that out. I thought it was a great song.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to her stuff solely more. But yeah, I love the new. Honestly, There's hasn't been a single thing that Amy Lee hasn't touched that I enjoy listening
I
to.
know, right? What a voice. We did a top 7 songs from female artists, and one of hers made my list because,
Sweet.
I mean, it's Amy Lee. Just saying.
Enough
Anyway,
explanation.
you're right, right? All right. So Evanescence for her. Anybody else?
Honestly, for me, I never got to see Rush, which I regret. And I know they're doing some shows now, but last time I checked, it was like
Yeah.
except for Nashville. So
Yeah, I was
but
trying to get some tickets, and they were a little bit too pricey. And I got to see the Clockwork Angels tour. That was last tour theirs I got to see, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things just with being on the ships and when it just never quite worked out time wise and now money wise. And I can't even fault them for not coming to Nashville because I mean, how old are they? I mean, like the concept of doing multiple shows over a short amount of time is daunting to me. I couldn't even imagine how it is for them,
Right. I know most of the cities they're doing 2 shows in a row, and then there's like a week or so between the next shows. So, but yeah, they all sold out so fast. We were going to go up to, I think it was Cleveland, and nope.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think when I looked into it, I mean, I don't know if they've added more shows since then, but that was the closest show to us was Cleveland.
Yeah. Bit of a drive.
I was over in Pittsburgh over Christmas, and I asked him like, how much were the tickets? Like, how much did you have to pay for them? And he's like, oh, dude, I don't know, man. Like, I told him I'd pay for the hotel if he gets the tickets. So I have no idea what he spent. And I'm like,
oh, no.
I think you got the good end of the deal, brother.
Yeah, I think he did. Though I remember at one point the worst seats in the place were still like $300 a piece, and I'm like, God, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Anyway,
it's so tough because like one of our close friends, Luke is his name. He's a drummer as well, and he's a Rush super fan, just like any of us drummers are.
Right.
He saw them numerous times whenever Neil was still playing with them. I saw him on the Clockwork Angels tour in 2012 in Detroit. And it was great. It was amazing. I mean, it was just everything is advertised. And I think Annika Niles is in a completely impossible situation. And
it's not fair. Because I saw a comment on it was just a clip of Neil playing, and somebody was like, and how is that girl going to do that? I'm like, dude, she's not replacing him. There's plenty of talented drummers that can play those drum lines. It's not that. What made Neil special was that he wrote those drum lines on his own and wrote some of the best lyrics ever in rock songs. So it wasn't just that he played it, is that he wrote those pieces. She's shown that she can play a lot of what he played. So that's not the issue. So
everything note for note, and there's no doubt it's nothing to do with her playing, nothing to do with that. Like, it's an impossible situation. It's right. like the football coach that replaces Nick Saban. It's right. Like, how can you do that? It's impossible. That fan base is beholden to them. It's their, right. And it's hard. Like I couldn't imagine like any of us, leaving the band or stopping playing and then trying to replace them. It's like, I don't know, man. Like for a band like that, that's had, I think about that, like our situation of like, what would that mean to us? If one of us is gone and they try to replace it, and it's just like, I couldn't imagine doing this without Ryan. Or without John, it wouldn't feel right. You know what I mean? At that point, I just wanted to say, no, it's done. Like, let's not try to, squeeze the toothpaste tube.
Yeah,
right.
Put the last scrap of toothpaste in there, and try to pass it off as the original product. But I know that's not how they think about it. That's not fair to them either. But
no, I think part of it is, well, I read Getty's book, My Effing Life, and at the same time I was reading Neil's Ghost Rider. And it was interesting to kind of do those at the same time because you kind of hear what Neil was going through after his family basically died and what he was dealing with. But listening to Getty's book, how Neil being gone was impacting basically their money, their flow of music or whatever. So part of me kind of feels like this. I mean, I've been buying a lot of stuff off the Rush website and whatever, but the fact is people aren't buying records as much anymore. People aren't, they're not making money off of streaming. So one of the things we talk about on the podcast is physical media is better because more money gets to the artists when you buy physical media. And I think a big part of what's going on is people kind of didn't really want, Alex's solo album or his band the album he released, they want to hear Rush, and I think this is a way for them to get some cash flow going again, because it's been a very long time since they lost Neil, since they toured with Neil. So what it comes down to for me in my brain is it's they just need to make some money, because how else are you going to do it? They can't release a new album, so they're just going to go on tour, and apparently people want to see them because all the shows sold out. So that's cool, And you're right, it's unbelievable for her. Anika is not going to have a good time. All the hate that Emily Armstrong got when she joined Linkin Park, I'm like, that's not fair.
Just gonna say that. Well, it's also just you have to take into account. I feel like, especially with bands that are of that like broad of an audience and a history, and you almost have like a service to do to your fans to like keep playing the music as long as you can, as long as you're willing to accept it, which I think that more people just need to be more accepting in general. But
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I like what Emily's doing with the vocals.
I love her.
So good. She's brought a lot to that, and I think only the weakest part of that album is, Chester's not there to help as a songwriter, and I think you can kind of tell. But
and that was exactly what you were just saying, though, with like the drum parts. It's like the magic of Chester was his mind, even as tortured as it was. Like there was beauty within that as well. So it's like you had the incredible voice with also that like deepness lyrically. So of course we're going to miss that aspect. But Linkin Park as a band has done so much for so many people, and it's like, would you rather never hear that song live again ever, or
exactly? Yeah,
when you still have the rest of the members of the band willing, especially in a case where it's such a tragic loss and things like that.
Yeah, I know. It's still,
like, should the rest of the band be punished in a sense and never get to perform those songs that people want to hear?
Right.
There's such a dichotomy to it, and it's never an easy decision, I'm sure.
Right.
No matter what, it's like, they need to decide what's best for them, and there's rumbling on the street that, Taylor Momsen's camp is kind of putting the feeler, like kind of putting some things out in the world, like, hey, I'd tour with Soundgarden, I'd sub in for Chris Cornell, I'd be their vocalist for a reunion tour. And that's another one where it's just like, boy, it's not that she can't,
right?
Not that she can do it, it's almost like, it's like trying to take a picture of a sunset at the Grand Canyon. It's like you can take a picture of it and you can show it to people, but it's not the same. It's way better in my memory than it is on that camera. You know what I mean? And like, not that she would ruin a memory or something like that, but I would hate to go and like, not enjoy it and then tell people, man, I didn't enjoy the concert because blah 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 blah. That's not fair to them.
Right.
So for me, it's like I don't think I could ever go see Rush again. It's just like. It's just a memory that lives in my mind, and that's what's going to be there,
Right.
And I'm always going to compare what Annika does in that moment, and it's not fair to her at all because she's a person. But I'm always going to compare it to that concert in 2012, and so it's like I'd rather the new fans go see it. That's their first experience. They get to see her play with it, and they get to experience it for the first time. But like if I saw them for the second time, I don't know, man. Like I don't think I could get it out of my head.
Yeah.
But again, everybody's totally different. It's such a good question, man.
Sorry, Ryan didn't get to answer his band.
Man, I've seen who really I wanted to really see, to be quite honest with you, but I really wanted to see Ozzy. I wanted to see Ozzy since I was a kid. I just didn't have the time, nor was he really near my city. I say Ozzy is just definitely, especially Randy Rhoads, he's definitely an early influence as well. Crazy Train was one of those songs I would just blast up in my room and play it all along with it for hours and just learn the whole song, study what Randy's for doing. So, but also Ozzy's just, he's Ozzy. So
he's Ozzy, right?
He was somebody that I really, really wanted to see.
Yeah, I got to see him on the Ultimate Sin tour, but I was mostly there to see Metallica because they were opening at that time.
Oh, okay.
So to me, it was Metallica with Ozzy kind of like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, but all right. I thought for sure you're going to say Led Zeppelin, to be honest, with the shirt and everything. I figured it's got to be.
I like Zeppelin a lot, but there's other bands that I would rather see.
Gotcha.
And that's not saying that they're awful. I love Zeppelin, but I have other priorities.
Gotcha. All right, so let's just take a minute to talk about your upcoming tour. I have all your dates here. So you guys are going to California, Anaheim. Is that the first time you guys have played California?
No, we actually played in San Diego once before.
Okay.
But very excited to go back. I love California.
Yeah, I'm originally from California, and we were just out there 3 years ago. We were actually in Anaheim for Disneyland, and then drove up to the coast. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so
Okay.
I got to see the 49ers new stadium. I hadn't seen Levi Stadium since it's been built, so I'm a big 49ers fan. Have been my whole life. I was pretty much born wearing the jersey, but yeah, love California. So, but yeah, that's cool that you guys get to go back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are doing the Jam Experience on January 20th. Louisville, Kentucky on the 22nd at the Fox Den, which I will be joining you guys there to check you guys out.
Come say hi to us.
Of course. I'll make myself known, I promise. Columbus, Ohio, January 23rd. Covington, Kentucky, January 24th at Madison Live. Lakewood, Ohio, January 25th at the Winchester. Not the Winchester from Shaun of the Dead, but could be. Charlotte, North Carolina, January 28th at Amos South End. Villages, Florida, January 30th at the Old Mill Playhouse. Atlanta, Georgia, January 31st at the 5 to 9 Bar. And Birmingham, Alabama, February 1st at the Nick. Well, you seemed like you kind of stay close to home for the most part.
Yeah, I think we've kind of been generally talking about the trajectory of our tour schedule for the upcoming year, and we're kind of gonna focus it by region ideally. We'll see what happens in the actual logistics of planning it out, but we'll tackle it by this little chunk, and then we'll go over here and then maybe over here and see what we can do.
Very cool. All right. I will put links for your social media, for your Spotify link, your YouTube link, and also your website in the show notes for people to check you guys out.
Thank you.
Yeah, your merch on there, and of course, your CD that I have now.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It just came today. It made me very happy. So.
Oh, woohoo! Very early Christmas.
Actually, we just hit 100 CDs sold. So
Yay!
Very good. Because as we like to say, physical media is better than streaming. There you go. But
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
you do the math. If you buy a band CD, that's probably more than you'll ever contribute by streaming their music.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Same reason why when I go to the movie theaters, I buy the popcorn and the drink, and because I know that even though that ticket was $15, the theater only got like $2 of that 15. So yes, I know the popcorn's expensive, but that's the only way the theaters stay in business is by me buying snacks. So
Yeah, I saw that somebody did the math and calculated how many hours and streams they had being Taylor Swift's top listener of the year, like the number one, and it equated to maybe like $12 in revenue.
I know, right? It's sick. It's sick. Oh well. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for being here. There's a lot of fun talking music with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys in Louisville. Make sure to check them out on YouTube. A lot of fun videos over there, shorts, and then love how you guys have fun ones on there as well. So everybody check them out over there. Check them out on Spotify as well. And thank you guys again for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time and having us.
And as I like to remind our listeners and our viewers, do yourself a favor and listen to more music. And remember, whenever possible, physical media is better than streaming. The Docking Bay 77 podcast is produced and edited by Dayton Johnson, recorded with Rode Pod mics, the Zoom PodTrack P4, and edited on Audacity. Opening music provided by Eric Jason Brock. You can find him on YouTube and Bandcamp. Thank you for listening.